Hey girl, hey, and welcome back to OMG Scrunchie Club. And for those of you that are new, welcome to the club. I am the Scrunchie creator, Lamiel, and today's look, I am rocking the OMG Scrunchie Crown Stormy as well as the OMG Scrunch earrings in Stormy as well. So guys, it has been a busy day for me today. I taught a few art classes, had to run some errands, but I was determined to get a YouTube video done today. So if I look a mess, I do apologize, but hey, you're not here looking at me, you're here to see what I'm going to make. So today's video is sponsored by the Hairbow Box. The Hairbow Box is a monthly subscription box service of hair bows and hair accessories for girls from ages 3 months to 12 years old. You can get your Hairbow Box from thehairbowbox.com, and I will leave a coupon code in the description box for you down below. So today's video is a request from, I'm looking at my computer, from Portia or Portia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And her request was for me to make a maroon scrunchie, which I have my maroon fabric already cut out, and name it after her nickname Poshie, P-O-S-H-I-E. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I introduce to you Poshie, not made yet, but this is what Poshie is going to be made from. Also, when it comes to making velvet scrunchies, there are different types of velvet material. For example, I will do a video, not for example, but I will do a video on the different types of velvets that you can make your scrunchies with. But for this particular video, I'm using a stretch velvet, which is like a knit velvet. So different velvet materials have different weights to them. So I try to find lightweight material, but when I do that velvet video, you will see the different types of velvet, and I may end up weighing the velvet as well. So that is going to be my next video. I did have some other video requests that I'm working on as well. Someone wanted to know about elastic, so I'm going to do a stretch test video on elastic, which is different from my other elastic video, as well as I am working on some hairstyles for natural hairstyles, ways to style your scrunchies with natural hair. So one of my favorite things to do is to put a headband on and just throw my hair in a ponytail or a little ball, but I will do that. And also I'm working on some new headband designs as well, so I've been pretty busy doing things. So hopefully right after I do this video, I will go ahead and just go into recording the velvet video, so that I will drop 2 videos this week since I did not do one on last week. So do forgive me. And for those of you that are watching, please go to omgscrunchieclub.com right now. Pause this video, but listen to the instructions first. Go to omgscrunchieclub.com and register on the website. At the bottom of the screen, there's a button that says rewards, and if you click that, you can earn reward points towards scrunchies without even having to purchase a scrunchie as of right now. So just by registering and sharing my website on social media, that would help me out a lot. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscription button, press that bell for notifications, and don't forget to comment on this video. I'm still fairly new to social media, so I'm trying to get my numbers up. So if you would please, if I had a small violin, I would play some music here, but if you would please help me in that way, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to change camera angles right now, and for this velvet scrunchie, I thought I had some maroon thread, but I don't, so I will be sewing this with black thread. And since you can't really see through it, since it's not transparent, I'm going to be using a white elastic band in it, and I like to use knit elastic because it keeps its shape. And if you have any questions about the elastic, you can check out my elastic video on that. And also I have my OMG scrunchie tag here, and I also have a video about tags if you're curious as to where I get my tags from. I've tried a few different companies as well as making my own tags, so you can check out my tags video as well. So without further ado, because I will talk you to death, here we go. Let's get started. So let's go ahead and get started with this velvet scrunchie here. So I'm going to try to come in front of my machine. So I like to face my fabric right sides together, and I put the two side short seams together. This is where I will insert my tag. So when inserting your tag, you want the tag writing to go towards the inside of the fabric, not the outside. If you do that, the tag will be inside out. So I'm going to line these up, put them under the sewing machine. I like to sew with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance depending on what I'm sewing. So that's what we're going to use for this particular scrunchie today. So I'm going to line my fabric up under my foot, find that 1/4 line right there, and I'm going to sew downward a little bit. I like to do a few back stitches just to make sure the ends are secure as well. So going to back stitch. So I'm using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance here. Let's see if I pull it this way. I'm trying to angle the machine a different angle for the camera. Maybe next time I'll come from this angle. I'm not sure. Still experimenting on what works best for you all. So I'm going to start sewing. I did a few back stitches. And maybe when I get towards the middle, I will stick my tag in. So right there. So some of my tags are pre-folded. The first set of tags that I got were pre-folded. The company did it for me. It was from an Etsy shop. But these I ordered from a ribbon company, and they were going to charge me 9 cents to fold each individual tag. And I have over 1,800 tags, and I think it was going to be like $90 just to fold them. So I was like, hey, I can save $90 and fold them myself. So I just fold them right here. I told them exactly how I wanted my logo to go on here and how much space I needed, and so I just fold it where I need to. And on the ribbon spool, there are perforated lines where I know to cut my tags in between. So here is my tag all folded up. Remember, you stick it in this way. I'm going to show you right here before I stick it in. So I stick it towards the inside of the fabric. So I kind of like to line my tag up with the foot, and there's a space where the needle goes through, so I try to make sure I push the tag the front past that line so that, well, you can't even see it, so I will have to do a video on this. I try to push the tag in far enough so that the needle doesn't sew over my print. So I have an idea of where I put it, and I follow my stitch line. Hopefully you can hear me talking over this machine. I'm going to back stitch, back stitch, back stitch a couple of times. Okay, so now that the tag is in, so here's what it looks like. This is where I folded the tag. So this is the bottom half of the tag, and it's folded in the middle towards the center, which is right here, right there. Okay, so now that I have that, as I've shown you before, I'm going to move my sewing machine onto the floor. Oh, I just messed up my thread on my sewing machine, but it's okay. So my goal is not to have to edit this video, so hopefully it makes sense in the end. So remember, I told you when I sew, I do line my fabric up like this, but I like to flip it over, and I fold the outsides inward. I have some thread here, but I'm just going to tuck it on the inside for now. So I fold the outsides inward, and then I like to line up this seam line here. This little line right here, I line those two up. And then I have, I think these are called Wonder Clips. I'm not sure, I got them off of Amazon. If anyone wants to know exactly what they are, please comment below. I will leave a link for you in the comment section. So I'm going to clip those. So everything, I call this the sausage casing or the tube casing. There are different ways to sew scrunchies. I think there are like 3 or 4 different ways to sew scrunchies. If you want me to do a video on different ways to sew scrunchies, let me know, because this way may be difficult for you, but I may have an easier way for you to do it. There's actually a way where you can sew the elastic on before actually closing the scrunchie up. You're sewing it as you're doing it. And I'm not talking about with a hair tie, I'm talking about with straight elastic. I can show you how to do that if you want to know how to do that. If not, that's cool too. So I'm putting my sewing machine back on the table. This little tool right here, this is a tool to help you maintain your seam allowance, but since I'm doing a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, it cannot fit under there. But I do have some tools if you like to sew, but you have trouble with keeping your seam allowance or keeping your line straight, let me know. I can give you some tools on what you can use, but it's magnetic and you can place it where you want it to go. If I wanted a 1 inch allowance, it will stay there and I can just make sure my fabric moves along this metal magnet here and keep the 1 inch seam allowance. So it's a cool tool to have if you want to use it, but I'm not using it right now, so it's just sitting there. So let's continue to sew. Okay, so I was able to change my camera angle. Hopefully this works for you. I hope. Fingers crossed. So here, right here, let's see. There's a line that says 1/4, so that's 1/4 of an inch. I just line my thread up right there and it's on the other side. This is the little magnet tool I was telling you about. You just pick where you want your seam allowance to go, but it doesn't work with the 1/4 of an inch. But I do have some other tools to help you maintain your seam allowance. I have some seam allowance tools, but that's I use that when I'm making purses and other items or clothes, just to make sure I get it right. So I just have this here because it's magnetized or magnetic and I stick it there. But as I was saying, sometimes with the knit fabric, it will roll away from itself like this. And so to help with that, I kind of pull the fabric out. I stretch it out just a little on this side so that it makes the edges lay flat. So if you see it like that, just pull it just a little towards yourself. And then I kind of stretch it out on the opposite side too. So I'm pulling, not pulling the fabric, but stretching it, because you don't want to pull it and strain your motor or that's underneath your foot that is actually helping to push the fabric. I just assist it a little. I guess that's the proper word to use. I'm not sure. Okay, but I hope it makes sense. If not, please let me know in the comment section. I'm laughing. If it doesn't make sense, let me know in the comment section and I will explain it a lot better. So I've sewn back to the point where I left off because I realized that my bobbin was not sewing because it was empty. So I had to refeed my bobbin. Yeah, I had to refeed the spool and then I stuck the bobbin back in there. So I'm going to maintain my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and keep going. So sometimes when I'm sewing my elastic, maybe the bottom side may be longer or the top may be just a little bit longer, but it's okay because it's going on the inside. Not my elastic, but sewing my scrunchie casing. If I said elastic, I do apologize for that. It's been a long day. So here we go. So right here, I'm going to pull from the inside. And I will pull it a good little bit while pulling the opposite side. I'm pulling that side as well in the opposite direction. So we're almost done with this casing. So you can see right here, this is where the hole ends. So I'm just going to tuck this back inside of there and continue sewing. String. So I've left probably a little under an inch right there of an opening, but it's cool. Since this fabric stretches, I can stretch it right there. Let's see, get it in the light. So I'm just going to push through and pull the fabric out. So I pull the fabric through that hole or that opening, and after this, I'm going to put in the elastic. So here we go. So remember, the tool that I like to use for inserting my elastic is this bodkin here. Yes, I did a video on using bodkins. There are different kinds of bodkins as well. And this one is a plastic one. I got it from Amazon, and then I have one that I got from Hobby Lobby that's green, but it does the same thing. And I also have metal bobbins, but you can check out my bobbin video. Some people use safety pins. I personally don't like safety pins because they get lost inside of your casing and they're small and harder to grip. So I'm going to go ahead and insert this and go ahead and feed it through. So I've come to the end. Here's my elastic and bobbin. So I'm going to tie this off, and I like to tie and sew my elastic. Some people just tie and not sew. But for extra security purposes, I tie it off first, and then I sew it also. So there it is. And I'm just going to do a few stitches across the top right here. And sew the casing closed. So let's get started. Since this is on the inside, I'm just going to do a few quick stitches across. Back stitch work here. Doesn't have to be neat since this is not a sheer scrunchie. I just want to make sure that it's sewn and secure. So I'm going to stuff that on the inside just like so, and tuck all of the loose threads inside, or you can snip them. I'll snip some of them. So I'll just snip this one. And now I want to sew my hole closed right here. So I have some elastic fuzz. So I'm going to sew my hole closed. So it's not a very big hole. Not big. Okay, so I like to backstitch here also. So I'm going to start with my backstitch first. Then I'll go forward. Then I'm going to backstitch it again. I just like to have extra security. Nothing wrong with being extra safe. And then I'll continue to sew that hole. And I actually sew it longer than the space or the opening on the scrunchie, so I made the line longer than the actual 1-inch space that I have here. So I will show you the finished product and introduce to you Poshie. So let's go ahead and stretch it out. So here is the finished and final product. And I will put it on a mannequin's head for you to see how full and fluffy it is. So here it is on my wrist. I use the same measurements for this that I would normally use for my satin scrunchies. Of course, this is a lot fuller looking, and fuller of course, because of the type of material that I used. The velvet is a lot thicker than the satin or the chiffon fabric. So here it is here, and I will get my mannequin head and come right back to show you how it looks on her head. So here is Emmy. My daughter named her Emmy. She has lots of hair, more hair than I have, and we're going to put this scrunchie on her head. So I'll just do like a messy bun, I guess. I'm not sure. So here's the tag, and I'm going to put the scrunchie on Emmy's head. As you can see, it is a very full, fluffy scrunchie. All right, so there's Emmy. If we wanted to do a regular ponytail, I'll just do my best. I don't have a brush or a hair comb, so it's going to be a messy ponytail also. But hey, she's just a head. She can't feel anything. I don't think she can feel anything. Just kidding. I know she can. So I know this is horrible, but just to give you an idea of how full and fluffy it is. So here is Emmy, the mannequin, and ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Poshie, the Maroon Velvet Scrunchie. So thanks for watching my tutorial today. She's not hurt. It's a fake head, so She's okay. We'll sit her right there. But thanks so much for tuning in and watching OMG Scrunchie Club. And don't forget to go to omgscrunchieclub.com and register on the website. And I will see you in the next video, which is hopefully the velvet video, talking about the different types of velvet you can use to make your velvet scrunchie at home. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.